Okay, today we're learning about formulas and problem solving. I know I've got this when I can use formulas to solve problems and solve a formula or equation for one of its variables. The key vocabulary is a formula, an equation that describes a known relationship among quantities such as distance, time, volume, weight, and money. So these are some common formulas that you've probably already seen, some of them at least. Area is length times width. The interest is principal, rate, and time. Perimeter is all three side lengths. Distance equals rate times time, and volume equals length times width times height. So let's do the first one. A flower bed is in the shape of a triangle with one side twice the length of the shorter side, and the third side is 30 feet more than the length of the shortest side. Find the dimensions if the perimeter is 102. Okay, so we have to start working with this. All right, so we have three sides, right? A flower bed is in the shape of a triangle with one side twice the length of the shorter side. So we don't know what the shorter side is, but we know that one length is twice that. And the third side is 30 feet more than the shortest side. And all those added up together would equal 102. Okay, so x plus 2x plus x is 4x plus 30 is going to equal 102. So I am going to subtract both sides by 30, and we get 4x equals, what is that? 72. So if I divide both sides by 4, I would get 18. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so the shortest side equals 18. The longest side, let's see, one side twice that. So we don't know if it's longest or not yet. It's not. 18 times 2 is 36. And then 18 plus 30 is 48. So the dimensions are 18, 36, and 48. So let's see. This says the three sides of a triangle have a length, it went away, of 18, 36, and 48 feet. Okay, Wendell reads a thermometer that reads 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the equivalent temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, so we need to convert 59 degrees Fahrenheit to something Celsius. Okay, so what would I do? What's the first thing that I would do? I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. So I get 27 equals 9/5 C. And so how can you solve for C? You would multiply by the reciprocal, which is 5/9 on both sides. So all that's going to cancel out. And then 9 can go into 27 3 times. So 5 times 3 is 15 degrees Celsius. And that would be my final answer. Okay, this problem says, Charles can afford enough fencing to enclose a rectangular garden with a perimeter of 140 feet. If the width of his garden must be 30, find the length. So I'm going to just draw this. Okay, so we know the whole thing has to equal 130. So if this is 30, then this has to be 30. We don't know what this is. Okay, so we know all that added together, though, is equal to 140. So, okay, I'm going to pause this because this is for you to do, and then you try to figure it out. You should have gotten the length of his garden is 40 feet. If you don't understand that, just email me and ask, and I can help you. Okay, it's often necessary to rewrite a formula so that it is solved for one of the variables. This is accomplished by isolating the designated variable on one side of the equal sign. So what am I talking about? You have to clear the fractions, use the distributive property to remove parentheses if they occur, simplify each side of the equation by combining like terms, get all terms containing the specified variable on one side and all other terms on the other side by using the addition property of equality, and then get the specified variable alone by using the multiplication property of equality. So let's just see what that looks like. Y'all are used to having equations with numbers on them. Now you don't. So because you have to use formulas, especially in physical science, to be able to work with the numbers. All right, so if I want to solve this for n, that means I want to isolate the n. That's all that means. When it says solve for n, it means you want to isolate the n. So the m and the r are being multiplied to the n. So the opposite of that would be to divide. If I do that, I get n by itself, and that equals t over m r. And that's all I want you to do. I just want you to isolate it. Okay, the next one says solve A equals P plus PRT for T. All right, so we're getting the T by itself. So, whoops. Okay, so I'm gonna subtract this P first. Well, if my pen, there we go, minus P. So I'm gonna subtract the P, I'll get A minus P equals PRT. And now I still want to get the T by itself, so I need to divide this P and R. That goes away. So I'm left with T equals A minus P over P R. All right. So now I'm solving the Fahrenheit and Celsius formula for Celsius. So I want to solve for C. So you're going to do this one, isolate the C. Go ahead and pause it and work it out. And you should have gotten that C equals 5F minus 160 over 9. Let's go ahead and do that one together. Just make sure that y'all have it. So I'm solving for C, so I'm going to subtract the 32 to get F minus 32 equals 9/5 C. So then I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5/9. And so we cancel that out. And this is how they got all that. So if you wanted to, you could put 5F over 9 minus 160 over 9. That's fine. They are just putting it all over one denominator, which is fine. Okay, so I know I've got this when I can use formulas to solve problems. Solve a formula or equation for one of its variables. Do you really understand? What's a formula? Give an example. So one formula would be the interest formula, I equals PRT. So it's just, it is a formula that you use that you can substitute numbers in to solve for different variables. When you solve a problem using a formula, you generally need to include units in your answer. Why? Units are important in math. It depends on what you're talking about. It can be very dangerous in chemistry, or it can be very costing if you were talking about buying supplies or anything else. So that is why.